This is my fancy piece of cheese pizza that I am going to walk you through how to make. How to make pizza. Making food's fun. It's also a great way to learn a ton of stuff in Blender. We're going to be using image textures. We're going to be using cloth modifiers. We're going to have to understand collisions and a bit of the physics and the separation of objects and lighting between sun and so on and so forth. And we're going to have an appetite. All right. Without further ado, let's get started. Let's make a slice of pizza. I'm going to click General. I like to hide the light and the camera, and we're not going to need this cube, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And then what we do need is a plane. The plane's going to be the slice. It's how we're going to make a triangle. Here's our plane. Let's go into edit mode and change up the size. For X, it's going to be 2.5 maybe. And then for Y, 3.5. And we can leave Z as is. And now we want to make it, well, the triangle. So I'm going to go ahead and click on these two vertices and do vertex merge at center. Boom. We got a triangle. I'm going to click Z here, and there we are. So that's great. We're going to need a few more things than just the triangle. We're going to need crust on our pizza. So to do that, I'm going to click on my knife tool here. And it's kind of up to you. I don't know how much crust you like on your pizza. I'm going to put mine right about here. Boom. And then I hit enter to set it. There we are. This is looking excellent. So what we want now is to make sure that our crust has a bit of a round shape like crust would. So I'm going to go into edge mode, click on the edge here, edge, subdivide. And I'm going to subdivide it 3 times. I'm going to do the same with this edge, 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 subdivide, and 3 times. Okay? The reason I'm doing that without selecting both at the same time is that will divide them up. It will put lines in between, and we don't need that. Let's go into vertex. I am going to go ahead and go whoop, select all of them, and let's push it up a bit. I really like right around 0.15 actually. And I'm going to select off and now select these two and grab them and pull up. And I really like for this 0.08-ish. I guess I could do 0.1. Yeah, that's looking good to me. So now that I have all this ready to rock, let's go ahead and go back into face mode. Click on this and I'm going to extrude. Whoops. So face, extrude face, and however big you want your pizza. I think a 0.9 scale is good. Maybe a 0.8. Alright, and then for the crust, same deal. Click, face, extrude faces, right about there. So we'll say a 0.95 is looking good. Okay, for the edge of this, what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and select edge, and I'm going to hold shift to select all 4 of these, and I want to pull it up a bit to give it a slant. Let's see how that, oh, whoa, edit, undo, let's try that again, up, and I'm thinking a 0.1 slant will be good. Because I'm also now going to select these, holding shift, and push. Just a bit of a bump, so a negative 0.95 maybe. Whoa, negative 0.0. There we are. Great. And this is looking good. Let me go ahead and do vertex. I want there to be a bottom to our piece of pizza. So, right, not hollow like it is. I'm going to go ahead and, again, click Z. I'm looking at the bottom. I'm going to use select. I'm going to select all of that and do vertex, new edge from face. Now, hopefully, yep, and yep. That is looking awesome. So, now we want to start talking about the cheese. I'm going to click on and face select. Oh, no, let's go ahead and make yes. All right, so let's go into object mode. First, I'm actually going to apply the material to this. So I'm going to head over to material. I'm going to do new. And I'm going to call it crust. It's great. I don't need to see the preview. And I am going to use an image texture. This image texture is one that I created. I made it. You are free to use it. It will be linked in the description. So 0 down videos. And yep. There we are. And there we are. Oop. That's a bit better. Flat, linear. Now we don't have to worry this too much for now because we will be getting it more exact later, but we can go ahead and do a sphere on this. And then let's also add a subsurface color. So I'm going to do like a 0.2. I want it a bit darker, so I know the hex for a darker. It's, well, for a brown, 654321. It's one of the few colors I can remember, but I'm just going to pull this down just to give it a darker tint. Okay, and then I'm going to zero out that, and there we are, and maybe a 0.6. All right, so that's good for now. We need cheese, so I'm going to click on Z here, and it's hard to see our crust now because we do want to see that. So here we are, and then I'm going to do add mesh plane. All right, and it is there. It's right here. I need it above my pizza. And click on Z. Let's go into edit mode now. All right. We need this to be like our sliced pizza or the size of it. So I'm going to start messing with this stuff. I remember doing 3-ish and then 2.5-ish for that. Okay. And then for, let's do a bit longer. Maybe 3.2. It somewhat depends on how much cheese you want to have. Overhang. Okay. That's looking good to me. 3.3. Just want to make sure. Where's the edge? Right there. And then is it going to go over the tip of the pizza? Yeah, so I'm going to put this. It's at 2.6 Z. And you just want it to cover, right? Be in this general region for the cheese. So now what we need to do is do edge, subdivide, and we need to subdivide it a lot because this is going to give it its, its ability to wrap around our pizza. So I don't know, 35. The more you do this though, the harder it is to render an image. So be careful if you have an older computer. I'm going to use 35 roughly. Okay. And let's go ahead and go back into object mode. I am now going to do a material, new material. I'm going to call this cheese. This is another texture. It's one I've created. It is going to be linked in the description. Image texture, open, and 0, dump in, pizza. There we are. Great. That's looking great. A few things I'd like to do to it, just to give it a bit of a better look. I'm going to use yellow, FFFF00 is the hex for the exact yellow. And then subsurface 0.2 maybe. Yeah, it's too strong. 0.1, that's fine. Roughness, maybe 0.4. And that's looking good. Kind of glosses over it some for us. All right, so now we want modifiers for our cheese. So we're actually going to add to the cheese a cloth modifier, and after you do that, you want to have a collision modifier. Now down here for the crust, you just need the collision modifier. Let's give this a shot. Boom. And you can already see how it is working. And we can rewind it a bit just to see it falling, where it gets a good shape. things like this. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do though is I'm going to change up the collision using the physics tab. And you can also obviously change the modifier of the cloth, the speed, so on and so forth, the mass. Maybe I want a 0.5 for a particular look. What I do want though is the stickiness. I'm going to put this, I don't remember, 0.5 maybe, and a 0.5. It just slows it down for me to see. And friction, that's what I forgot. So friction's at a 5. I'm going to set that to 1. So that I am liking. I might actually though, let's go all the way back. I am going to go into edit mode. Nope, I'm not. Let's go into object mode, and I'm going to go ahead and change the X to maybe a 2.7. And let's see what this looks like. I like this. Okay. Now I want to make sure, no, it's not going through the end here. And you can just pick where you want it. Now, if you're not liking it, what can help is if you click on it and go into edit mode, and I'm going to do select all. Again, the more you do this, though, the more your computer could struggle. And then edge, subdivide again. Now I can go back into object mode. I'm going to go back to the beginning here and boom. Okay, so I am liking this. Yes. All right, that sticks out a little bit, and that will be fine. I'm liking it like this. So I'm going to go ahead then, since I do like it like this, on the cheese, go to modifiers, and apply the cloth. And now that's how it is. Doesn't change up on us. Okay? So with that applied, there's several things we are going to do to make it even nicer. I'm first going to go into edit mode. I'm going to go into X-ray mode, and I'm going to get rid of the extra cheese. So there's our whole thing, all right? It's something like that is where I'm going to get rid of. All right, you can kind of decide how much cheese you want to overhang and things of this nature. I'm going to select all that. I'm going to do mesh, I'm going to do delete, and then I'm going to do faces. All right, and now let's get out of that. Let's go take a look. Object. All right. And it does have that rough edge appearance, but we will take care of that. So now we got all the extra gone. You want to double check the end here. So if you have some crust sticking out, you can just grab the crust and hide it under the cheese. Just mush it, push it down some. And actually, honestly, I might do that anyways. Pizza often does have a bit of a slant, so that's totally up to you, though. Right. So this is looking good to me. Now, to continue with our cheese here, let's go ahead and we're going to smooth it. Let's solidify it first. Or we could cut first. Let's go ahead and... So many options, so little time. All right, let's cut. Edit. X. Knife. And I want vertex mode. It's easier. Okay, so I'm going to click this one here. And then I'm just going to go all the way out, and I'm going to pick one. And I'm getting rid of all that edge. And now I'm going to click Enter. Okay. And then I'm going to use the Select tool and right up into that edge. Oop, I got the stuff behind it, though. So I need to turn off X-ray, right up into this edge. right up into this edge. There we go. Whoop, too much. All right, and then mesh and delete faces. So that overhang is out of here. Now click on X again. I'm going to use my knife tool again. I'm going to hit enter. And now same deal. I want to use this face select. Okay, and then mesh. I'll leave a bit of overhang. That is fine. Let's take a look at the front here. We'll work on the front after we do a few more things. So let's go back to object mode. Now I'm going to click here and I'm going to go ahead and do a modifier, and my modifier will be decisions. Actually, let's do some editing still. To give the cheese a bit of variability, I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to do select, and then I'm going to select random. Right, but I don't need 50%. I'm just going to do 20%. And so I have 20% here. I'm going to do scale. And this is a powerful tool, so choose to use it wisely. But I'm going to vary the scale of mine. That is now 1.05. Okay, and you can already see how much 1.02 that is going to impact it. 1.01. And kind of change up the dimensions of the cheese. Okay, so now what else? Well, I'm going to go to vertex and I'm going to do select random, and same idea, but I'm going to move them. Which direction? This way. Right? Definitely don't want it that much. 0.01. Alright, and let's take a look. And it does vary the cheese and kind of rough it up some. You can also do that with rotation. All right, now let's do a solidify. And I like, I don't know, 0.03. And so this is thickening the cheese. You might be able to see it better on the end. Right here. Whoop, that went nuts. So you will want to pay attention to these edge pieces that are also trying to get out. And you can kind of just push them around to get your pizza looking right. All right. So with that ready, I'm just going to apply. Oh, yep. Back into object mode. Let me zoom out some. Now, I do want to smooth out my whole shape. Let me apply this. Let me go ahead then and do object shade smooth. And that helps to kind of even it out some. That's looking great. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and edit the crust. Now, just to grab just the crust, let's first actually go into edit mode. What I want to do though in edit mode, I'm going to just make sure select all, right? And you want to have faces, nothing else. So select none, select all these faces. And I'm going to go to UV, Smart UV Project, and click OK. And what will happen now is it's going to grab that texture and wrap it all the way around. So it might not load it up there. Regardless, it is wrapped all the way around our item, which is what, well, we want. So we can now just edit this material up some and darken up the whole thing if we want. I like to at 3, I think. So, but what we're here for is the crust. The crust. All right. I'm going to hide our cheese for a moment. I'm going to click here and zoom out. And I'm now going to go ahead and this is hidden by the cheese, so don't worry about that. And go into this. Oh, edit mode. How did I get out of edit mode? All right. Let's go ahead here and separate it out. So I'm going to use the X-ray mode again. Select face mode is fine. And to select, actually, before I forget, I'm going to turn off this. Remember that we created a bottom for our one side here? And so there's not going to be... Actually, before I go any farther, let me turn off X-ray mode. We created a back to our pizza. I'm going to click on this. Notice it's all one plane. I'm going to do a mesh and a delete of this face. Just that, because it will get in the way in a second. So now let me click on Z and X-ray. Let me grab all this. Make sure we got it all. And we did. So we're going to do mesh, separate by selection. I'm going to go object mode again. And let me just pull this away because it's its own thing. Now, for the bottom of it, I'm going to go back into edit mode real quick. Let's just create separate points for the backs of them. Okay. I'm going to click on Z here. Whoops, Z. Yep. And let me just grab all these vertices. Oh, am I not on? I'm going to just hold shift and I'm going to select each one of these guys. And then vertex, new face from vertices. And there we go. Now I'm going to object mode. I'm going to do the same thing with this. Edit mode. And I'm just going to click here, here, here. Vertex, new face. And that's great. All right. So now for our crust, what we want. I'm going to go ahead and move it back down towards our pizza. Just see here. Yep, that looks good. We're going to first apply some modifiers to it. So let's go ahead and here we are. Collision. We need a displace. And we're going to need a new texture. That texture, I know it looks nuts right now, is going to be a cloud. And the one cloud texture I really like is the original Perlin. Still looks crazy, but that's fine, because we actually have the ability right here. I'm going to maybe do a 0.6, and see, that still looks wild for me. So maybe a 0.5, and you can kind of finagle it until you are liking its texture. So, yeah, that's probably good. Let's see it with cheese. And we will work on getting that situated correctly. So, all right, that looks good for now. What else do I need to do? Well, it is a crust. So, I wonder though, actually. Yeah, more like that. All right, let's make it smoother. So I'm going to use a smooth, and that's already looking great. And you can mess with this, 0.6, 0.2, whatever you're liking, that's great. Maybe we don't want to change up the y-axis as much. Maybe we do, or the z. Okay, kind of up to you how it smooths out our shape. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to move. That should be all right with cheese. Oh yeah, I'm definitely liking that. So I'm going to darken up the crust a bit. Go ahead and push this in here. There we are. I'm going to darken this up a bit. You might want to pull cheese around some. Go into edit mode here and finagle with some of our cheeses. Okay, kind of making it look however you think pizza should be looking. And the nice thing is about cheese is it can hide whatever we want it to. So if I don't want to stress about getting all of this exactly lined up, well, I can use my cheese. And so I'm just going to do finishing touches at this point. Okay, and so that's awesome. Now I could just do some finishing touches here. Maybe I want to smooth in the crust or change its shape a bit. Go into edit mode. Let me see. Yep, that's great. Let me see through this. Maybe I want less of a hard corner here. Kind of bring it in some. Okay. Then so on and so forth. You can just kind of make this your own. Let's take a look at what the camera looks like right now. Oh, let's get rid of that. Okay, and go into object mode. Let's go look at it from this viewpoint. Okay, and so we are going to want to adjust some lighting here. Let's turn that on. Oh, that's already all right. And let me do select none. Okay. I can tell I want to edit some of my cheese here real quick, so I'm going to go into edit mode, and I'm going to go like this, and I'm just going to grab some cheese and pull on it. You guys are going up. Oh, didn't get select. Make it a little less perfect up here. How cheese is. And of course I can do more of that if I would like. Let's see. That's the final. That's great. Let's turn our light into a sun, maybe? And let's do a 5 or a 1. Well, that's looking pretty good. Let's do view, sidebar, view, clock camera, and now we can move our camera a bit easier. Okay. Something I do want to do, I'm going to select the crust here, edit mode, line, select all, edge, bevel. I'm going to pull it in some. Let's see there. 0.04 is what I just did. And yeah, it gives the texture a bit smoother of a crust. Great. And I'm going to pull it out a bit now that I beveled. .04, just kind of get the cheese visible again with the bevel. Great. All right, let's go back to this. Here we are. I'm liking this angle here for the camera. What I'm going to do though is I like a transparent background. So wow, the camera, film, transparent. My lighting, I'm liking this lighting actually. And so I'm going to go ahead and render image, and I have it's cut off a bit. I can fix that. What I'm doing now is I'm going to be messing around with the lighting, rendering it, and arranging it. I'm going to hit fast forward a bit so you can kind of see the different types of lights I use. I try to solidify the cheese a bit more here, 0.06, just to thicken it up for rendering purposes. But this is the pizza, right? It's kind of up to you how you want to render it, how you want to light it. It does impact the overall look. Make sure to make it look your own, right? You can add colors, you can add subsurface colors, and depending on how you apply the image texture, that also affects and impacts the final result as well. I've also in other situations used subsurface modifiers on the crust. Depending on how you have generated that crust, it's a really good way to give it more of a more of a circular look, I guess, rounded look. Regardless, I hope you made something super cool. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's fancy. You should definitely tell me about what you made below. Also, if you're still watching, hit like, hit subscribe. It is nice. It gives me warm fuzzies in a world that does not always. And yeah, I'm going to finish up figuring out how I want to render mine. I do end up using sun. I kind of like the look of that most. A nice cheesy pizza.